Today, we are going to be going through part 1 of your 1.4 Graphing and Evaluating Piecewise Functions notes. But instead of starting at the beginning, we're actually going to go to the last page of these notes. So I'm going to have you guys flip over, and then we're going to go over one more page. And we're going to look at the back, and we are just going to focus on evaluating a piecewise function graphically today. Whenever we evaluate a piecewise function graphically, we want to pay attention to the open points and the closed points. To start off with, we're going to go through number 8. On number 8, I am told to find f of 2. So remember that normally we write a function as f of x. So whatever the number is in parentheses, that is the x value that we're looking at. And it is asking us to find the y. So we want to find what x will give us a y. So since the x is 2, I'm going to take this pen, and you may want to use colored pencils for this part. So if you don't have colored pencils out, go ahead and grab some. So I'm going to go right here where x is 2, and I'm just going to draw a dotted line down my graph. And I want to know where this line crosses our function. We notice that the x value is 2 right here at this point. So I just want to find the y value that goes with 2. And the y value for this point is -1. We're going to do the same thing with part B. So -3 is your x. So I'm going to come right here to where -3 is, and I'm going to draw a line straight down through there to help me sort of kind of visualize where this is. As I look here, I have an open point and a closed point on that line. We are going to use the closed point, and the reason for that is we can't equal something unless it has a closed point. So where the x value is -3, the y value would be, let's say, about 2.5, about 2.5, because it's halfway in between 2 and 3 on the y-axis. Next, we're going to look at C. So our x value for C is -1. So I'm going to come right here where my -1 is and draw my little dotted line. And I notice that that dotted line cuts through 2 open points. There is not a closed point that this goes through, so f of -1 does not exist, or we could say undefined. Because there is not a specific point where x equals -1. Finally, for D, our x is -4. I'm going to come right here and draw my dotted line. And it is okay if it's a problem like part D, where it doesn't hit an actual point on it. If it just touches the line, we just draw ourselves a little coordinate point and match it up. So when x is equal to -4, our y value is 2. Awesome. We're going to go through number 9 together as well. If you guys would like to try this on your own, now is a great time to pause the video and then check and see how you can do it on your own. Alright, for part A, we find that x is equal to 0. So I'm going to come right here where x is 0 and draw a little dotted line to help me keep track of everything. At 0, it crosses the line right here at the y value 2. Even though it's just the line cutting through there, we're able to draw our own point in. Next, For part B, we have x is -4. So I'm going to come right here to where my x is -4 and draw my dotted line through it. I'm going to draw a little point where those two lines cross, and so when x is -4, my y value is +1. The next value that I'm going to look at is -1. I'm going to come and draw my dotted line through here. And at -1, I notice a closed point and an open point. We don't want the open point because it's not equal to -1 right there. It just gets really close. So we're going to go with our closed point, which tells us that the y value that goes with x equals -1 is -2. All we're doing is matching up the closed points or the parts of the line with the x value. And finally for D, we're looking for what y value goes with x equals 3. So I'm drawing my line right down 3, and it crosses at this point. So when my x value is 3, my y value is also 3. We will be doing a little bit of practice with graphing, with evaluating a piecewise function graphically tomorrow. We will also be talking more about how to graph these functions and how to evaluate them algebraically. Piecewise is a little bit of an interesting topic. The main thing that we're going to focus on in Math 3 is understanding how to evaluate a piecewise function. We'll get into more graphing them as you guys go into Math 4 next year.